The Galactic Empire, a vast and seemingly invincible force stretching across the stars, had crushed countless civilizations under its might. The emperors of ancient alien races had once fought for dominance, but now, centuries later, the empire's reach was absolute. It had grown bloated, overconfident, and blind to the true power that lay beyond its borders. Zara, an esteemed general from the Turith race, had served the empire for decades, earning a reputation as one of its fiercest warriors. She had fought in numerous campaigns, from the outer reaches of the Zorth Nebula to the desolate moons of Arjanoth. Zara had seen the destruction of entire worlds, the extinction of species that dared to oppose the empire, and the silent collapse of civilizations too weak to survive. Her heart had hardened over the years, until nothing seemed capable of threatening the empire's dominance. Nothing except for humanity. First, she had dismissed them as little more than a curious species, a primitive race struggling to rise from the ashes of its own violent past. But as the empire's scouts ventured deeper into human space, Zara became aware of a disturbing pattern. The humans were unpredictable, chaotic even. Their history was filled with wars, rebellions, and crises, yet they always seemed to rise again, stronger than before. She spent years studying them, watching from the edges of imperial databases as human intelligence outpaced their technology and their moral convictions outshone their military might. Zara was unnerved by what she saw. Despite their primitive tools and seemingly naive worldview, the humans had an unyielding spirit, a trait the Empire had never encountered in such a raw, concentrated form. Zara, ever pragmatic, knew that the Empire could crush any threat, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was different about this species. A growing sense of foreboding gnawed at her, urging her to act before it was too late. She had seen enough to know that humanity was not a species to be ignored. And so, she did the unthinkable. She requested an audience with the Emperor himself, in the Grand Hall of the Imperial Citadel, with towering statues of long-dead emperors looking down from their marble thrones. Zara stood before the Emperor, her armor gleaming in the cold light. She had served the Empire her entire life, but today, her heart was heavy with the weight of her warning. "Your Majesty," she began, her voice steady yet laced with urgency. "There is a species on the outer edges of our dominion. They call themselves humans." The Emperor, seated upon his grand throne, did not look up. His imperial gaze swept lazily over her, dismissing the report. "Humans. A trivial species, surely," he muttered. Zara stood tall, her pulse quickening with the knowledge that this might be her final chance to prevent an unseen catastrophe. "I have studied them extensively, my Emperor. Their technology is crude, their forces are weak, but their potential is—" She hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "Their potential is unlike any I have seen before. I warn you, they are resilient. If we do not act soon, they will pose a danger unlike any we've faced." The Emperor's lips curled into a dismissive sneer. "I've heard such tales before. Rebellions, uprisings, insurrections. We've crushed them all. Humanity is no different from any of the other primitive species we've extinguished. But they're different," Zara pressed, her voice sharpening. "You do not understand their spirit. They have the capacity to adapt and evolve faster than any race we've encountered. Their ability to overcome obstacles, against all odds, should not be underestimated." The Emperor leaned forward slightly, his expression cold and unamused. "General Zara, you have served us well, but this is no time for such paranoid delusions. You are dismissed." Her warning was brushed aside. Zara felt her heart sink, but she stood her ground. "I implore you to reconsider, Majesty. If we ignore them, it will be our undoing." The Emperor raised a hand, signaling for her to leave. "Enough. Your service to the Empire has been invaluable, but your obsession with these humans clouds your judgment. Do not speak of them again." Zara bowed, her face betraying no emotion, but inside, she felt a fire burning. She knew in her bones that this was not the last time the Empire would hear of humanity. As she left the Emperor's chambers, She could already feel the storm brewing, an unknown storm that would change the galaxy forever. The Empire found them on Outpost Vesper, a small, peaceful research colony hidden in the violet glow of a gas giant storm clouds, that a place the Empire believed was undefended, unimportant, that a place where 3 human women lived quiet lives. The Council assumed this would be an easy operation. They were wrong. 1. Dr. Mara Lysander. The gentle Dr. Lysander was known among human scientists as the kind of person who apologized to lab equipment if she bumped into it, that soft-spoken, that bright-eyed, that a pacifist to her core. Her work focused on programmable nanoseeds, tiny, evolving machines that repaired ecosystems and healed damaged tissue. She refused every military contract, every weapons proposal, every request to turn her brilliance into violence. When the Empire's Black Ops unit cut power to the outpost, Mara didn't panic. She simply looked up from her microscope and whispered, "They came sooner than I hoped." Then she touched a hidden panel beneath her desk. Deep beneath the colony floor, a dormant chamber awoke, never meant to harm, but fully capable of stopping harm cold. The Empire believed they were capturing a scientist. They were actually stepping into the domain of a woman who understood matter at the level of poetry. 2. Commander Tessa Holt. The ghost poetessa Holt had retired. She had earned it. She once disabled an armored dreadnought by weaponizing atmospheric drag and the ship's own thermal imbalance. She'd flown fighters older than she was, turned scraps of metal into victory, and outmaneuvered ships designed by supercomputers. Outpost Vesper was her quiet life. Maintenance work, local training flights, sunrise coffee on a landing platform. But the moment the Empire's dropships pierced the clouds, Tessa's instincts snapped awake. She didn't run. She didn't hide. She walked, calm, unhurried, into the hangar where her old starfighter rested under a tarp. A relic, spare parts barely holding a frame together. The Empire scouts laughed when they saw her power up the antique engines. They stopped laughing when that antique bled itself into the colony's obsolete defense grid, rewriting ancient code like a hungry predator learning to hunt again. The grid turned on that IT didn't target like a machine IT targeted like Tessa Holt. 3. Adept Naya Quinn. The quiet Naya Quinn rarely spoke, that a psionic adept trained in the meditation temples of Luna. She'd long ago learned to compress emotion into diamonds. Small, unbreakable, controlled. Her abilities weren't flashy. They didn't shatter mountains or twist metal. Her talent was subtlety, precision, a whisper that could calm a mind or stop it cold. When the Empire's telepaths swept the colony, searching for resistance, they brushed against something they didn't understand. They thought they'd encountered a civilian. They had actually awakened a tidal wave wearing the shape of a woman sitting in stillness. Naya opened her eyes. The telepaths collapsed as one, gently placed in a psychic sleep like children tucked into bed. Across the outpost, every psychic alarm sensor flickered to white. The Empire's first, within minutes, the Black Ops strike team realized something was wrong. This was supposed to be a silent extraction, no resistance, no threat. Instead, communications died. Weapons malfunctioned. Drones fell from the sky. Telepaths went offline, and the colony itself began to shift, doors locking, corridors rerouting. Defenses awakening. 3 human women were not supposed to be a problem. But these weren't just humans. They were the reason Kale Varn had begged. And the Empire, still believing itself unchallenged, pushed forward anyway. The Imperial strike was designed to last 12 minutes. 12 minutes to land. 12 minutes to neutralize. 12 minutes to extract their targets. No casualties. No noise. No complications. But Outpost Vesper had other plans shaped by the 3 women the Empire had underestimated. Minute 3, communications fallout. Minute 3, the Empire's comms flickered and died. The Black Ops commander slammed a gauntlet against his helmet. Signal interference. Find a source. But there was no source. The interference wasn't a weapon. It was Naya Quinn, calmly standing in the colony's courtyard, hands folded, eyes closed. Her mind swept across the spectrum like a quiet storm. She didn't attack. She simply redirected thoughts, orders, commands, each gently nudged aside, as though the universe had forgotten to obey them. It was the psychic equivalent of closing a door softly, and it terrified the telepaths who felt it. Minute 5. The sky ice at minute 5. The first Imperial gunship fell out of the sky. Not shot down, not destroyed, redesigned. Commander Tessa Holt's ancient starfighter shot upward, rattling and coughing smoke as it latched onto the Black Ops command channel. She had no missiles, no cannons, nothing that should threaten a modern warship. She didn't need them. Tessa knew the gunship's weak points by heart. Ships always had patterns, thermal cycles, thruster rhythms, microgaps in armor. She angled her fighter straight into the hurricane winds above the colony and let the turbulence do the work. The gunship broke apart, softly, cleanly, its pieces scattering like burning petals. Inside the Empire's command carrier, officers stared at the feed in stunned silence. How? How did a human relic destroy a Type 4 gunship? No one had an answer, except Cale Varn. Watching from a secure chamber aboard the carrier, he whispered, "She improvises." Minute 7. The world rewrites. At minute 7. Mara Lysander released her nanoseeds. Not to kill. To correct. The machines drifted from the outpost vents like glowing dust motes, landing on weapons, armor, even drop ships. Wherever the seeds touched, metal shimmered, cracked, and reshaped. Rifle barrels curled into spirals. Explosives dissolved into harmless white sand. Armor plates softened into a gel that sagged helplessly. One panicked soldier fired his plasma pistol, only to watch it turn into a bouquet of crystalline feathers that disintegrated in his hands. Mara stepped into view, pushing her glasses up her nose, looking genuinely apologetic. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I try to choose the least traumatic metamorphic patterns." The soldiers, now unarmed, unarmored, and overwhelmed, backed away. They had no idea what frightened them more, the power or the sincerity. Minute 10. The quiet diff at minute 10. The Empire attempted one final push. Their elite telepathic unit connected into a hive link, 50 minds merging into one overwhelming psychic spear aimed at Nia Quinn. It should have crushed her. Instead, she opened her eyes, and the world seemed to exhale. The psi spear dissolved like salt in water. The telepaths gasped, choking on emotions they couldn't understand. Calmness, compassion, serenity crashing into them like tidal waves. One by one, they collapsed into peaceful sleep. Some dreamt of oceans. Others dreamt of childhood memories they thought they'd forgotten. All of them woke later with tears drying on their cheeks. Minute 12. The women surrendered. Minute 12. The Empire strike team was finished, defeated without a single fatality. Their weapons transformed, their telepaths unconscious, their ships disabled, their morale shattered. Yet the 3 women emerged from the outpost unarmed and calm. They walked forward deliberately, hands raised not in fear, but in purpose. Tessa looked the Black Ops commander in the eyes. "You'll take us in," she said. "We know." Mara nodded sadly, as if witnessing an inevitable tragedy. Nia simply whispered, "It starts now." The Empire thought this meant their mission had succeeded. Cale Varn, watching from afar, understood the truth. Humanity had just shifted into a mode the galaxy had never seen before, and the Empire had no idea what storm had unleashed. The Empire believed that capturing the 3 women meant victory. They couldn't have been more wrong. The moment Mara, Tessa, and Nia were taken aboard the Imperial carrier, a single message pulsed across every human colony, outpost, and listening station. A simple, universal broadcast: 3 of ours have been taken. Humanity didn't declare war. Humanity coordinated. Day 1 to 5, the UNFO, something ancient and dangerous sparked across the human species, a trait the Empire had written off as myth. Unity. Earth governments aligned overnight. Mars activated dormant fleets. The Jovian syndicates opened their vaults of forbidden tech. Even the scattered void nomads, who hadn't agreed on anything for a century, sent encrypted messages offering assistance. Humanity had never moved with such purpose, because humanity had never been so angry. Day 10. The cracks in the Empire expected war fleets. What it got was something far worse. Human mathematicians released proofs, mathematical predictions showing the empire's economic, political, and logistical collapse within 36 days, using only publicly available data. The proof spread across the galaxy like a virus. Subjects of the Oridan Empire began to question everything. Governors hesitated. Sectors paused production. Allies wavered. Fear was no longer humanity's burden that IT belonged to the Empire now. Day 18, the Great Then came the defections. Entire star systems, long oppressed under Oridan rule, declared independence and immediately sought human protection. Not because humanity conquered them, but because humanity offered choice, something the Empire never had. Suddenly, Oridan ships were refusing orders. Officers mutinied. Provinces shut down their communications grids. The Empire was bleeding from the inside. Day 26. The moment of Arielonai, strategist Lurox stared at the latest reports in disbelief. It was 3 women. He whispered, "How are they doing this? For 3 women?" Kale Varn, now kept under guard, answered without hesitation, "You never understood humans. They don't fight for empires or borders. They fight for people, for friends, for the ones who made them laugh or cry or hope." He leaned in, "And you picked the wrong 3. Day 36, the SUR on the 36th day, with half their sectors in revolt and their fleets defecting to human command. The Galactic Empire finally broke. They contacted Humanity's Central Command with a single message: "We will return them. Please stop." The Arya and the 3 women were escorted to the border of human space in a ceremonial carrier. No weapons, no escorts, no arrogance left. They stepped onto the docking platform where billions watched on shared screens. Tessa ran a hand across her old starfighter, now lovingly restored by a human engineering fleet. Naya closed her eyes as telepaths across the system sent waves of relief. Mara smiled softly, her nanoseeds drifting around her like stardust. Humanity didn't cheer. Humanity exhaled. Justice had been done. The lesson: the galaxy never Oridan Empire wasn't destroyed, but it never recovered, because the galaxy had witnessed something terrifying and inspiring. Not humanity's violence, not humanity's technology, not humanity's rage, but humanity's unity when the wrong people were threatened. That a lesson carved into the histories of every species. Don't kill 3 human women. Don't endanger 3 human women. Don't even think about touching 3 human women. Because the last time someone tried, the galaxy almost ended.